All right, Georgia takes care of Georgia Tech. A really decisive win for the Dogs over the Jackets. 45-0 is what I'm told was the score. And Matt, from your perspective during the game, what'd you make of this performance from Georgia?
Yeah, I thought the defense, once again, outstanding. Third shutout of the year. They gave up 98 rushing yards to Georgia Tech, so they were able to move the ball a little bit on the ground here and there, but for the most part, fast, tough, deep. The same defense we've really seen dominate all year. And then offensively, Brock Bowers and Stetson Bennett were the two keys for me. Stetson, 255, 4 touchdowns. I thought he was very effective, made a lot of plays with his feet, pushed the ball down the field at times. I thought this was one of his best games. And Brock Bowers is a weapon. He hasn't been stopped all year. They really have to feed that guy the football. Really nice to see George Pickens. Not a lot of negatives to really take away from this one. What did you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, Brock Bowers had 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. I mean, and the moment that he caught that first touchdown, the moment he caught that ball, I knew he was gone. The dude is so fast. I mean, I think you tweeted he could be playing on Sundays right now.
I think he would be drafted. Yeah, if he came out in April.
Listen, Georgia has so many good skill position players, and we saw that today. I mean, they rotated almost every play, the wide receivers. They just have a plethora of guys, and that was on display today. Really good to see George Pickens back. He got a catch. I think he was maybe a little bit of a decoy today, just kind of get him the feel for game speed. Probably going to see a little bit more of him next week. I think that's the hope. But look, you said a third shutout of the year. That's huge, man. 45-0, and you're dominating this rivalry. I mean, there wasn't anything negative I could take away today. Stetson Bennett played well. I mean, the entire team played fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there was never any doubt about the game. I think they were disappointed they didn't score a touchdown that first drive. But other than that, this is a really solid performance. I think Tech had about half the yards that Georgia did. This team appears to be locked in. Y'all, they didn't have a single penalty today. I mean, that's really – it's hard to play a sport and sort of not commit a foul. It's not the same as in basketball, not having a single foul. That would just never happen. But, I mean, Anthony Dasher was saying post-game, and I didn't look it up, that this was a second time in a row against Georgia Tech that they've done that. Y'all can come in. So that's – I mean, it means you're locked in because they're playing a huge game next week in Atlanta, or here, I should say here. And to be that locked in that you don't commit a penalty, I just don't even know what to say. I thought that was very impressive. They were obviously better than Tech. That was not the situation. The question was how well would you play, and when you don't have a penalty, and then Kirby goes, well, maybe, that's not so good because you're not being aggressive. Like, whatever, man. I mean, 45-0, no penalties, Matt. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Did they take a timeout? I know they didn't take a single timeout against Florida. Great teams don't need to, get together and talk about what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like they did take a timeout at some point to try to get the ball back. I didn't understand. I know this is about Georgia, but I didn't understand a few things that Jeff Collins did today. I mean, you're at the 36, down 24. Why aren't you going for it? I didn't get that. You're punting for to save 14 yards? That just doesn't. These people are pissed with him, and I understand that. I thought he really did not coach well today. I didn't get that at all. And you could hear that.
No, that was the play that jumped out at me. Me. Why are you not going for it?
What are you doing? Yeah.
You have nothing to lose there.
Nothing. You're 3-8.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose there. I didn't understand that. But, the only thing is I'd say that was maybe negative against Georgia was they let them break a couple big runs, and I know Kirby and Dan Lanning do not want that. And they were on big third down plays that they allowed that a couple of times. So they got to clean that up for next week against an Alabama that is going to want to establish the run to an extent when they don't have Bryce Young back there scrambling around. What did Stetson Bennett say? Now the fun begins?
Yeah, now the fun begins, Matt.
Yeah, going back to him, I thought this was his best game of the year. He distributed the ball really well. A lot of different guys had touches, but Kenny McIntosh was the running back that stood out a lot to me. Now that he's 100% healthy, he's really moving, and he can make guys miss, and I think he's going to be a guy they try to get the ball to a lot against Alabama. who is playing really well. It's actually 0-0 against Auburn right now, but they're going to need him in the passing game to help out the pass rush that Alabama is going to give Georgia that Georgia hasn't really seen so far this year, especially if Jamari is not back at left tackle. I know they missed a few starters today, but again, like you said, the game was over quickly. They were obviously the best team on the field today, and they were so deep and so fast and so talented. It really was kind of a varsity JV type of feel to it today. I wasn't there, obviously, but Dean, I saw your tweet, 85-15, Georgia fans to Tech fans. Ryan, you're there now. What would you say?
I don't know about 85.
I would say it was 70-30.
It was.
Okay.
It was. It.
But it was definitely more than half.
No question. I've been coming to this game since I was a little kid. I've never seen it this one-sided. Georgia Tech's got some real underlying problems in their athletic department right now, and I don't know how you kind of get out of it, but they're going to have to be more competitive in football. But the Tech kids, there's just fewer and fewer of the students at the games, and people will support a winner, period. So it's not that the kids are not the problem. The students, it's the product on the field, and it's been the product on the field for the last 5 years. But Jeff Collins has 9 wins total at Georgia Tech. Kirby Smart has 12 this season. I think he was coaching. I was just gonna say it. He coached like a coward. You got to go for it on 4th down and 36. I mean, I just don't know what you're doing. If I were Georgia Tech booster, I'd want his ass fired tomorrow because it's not good enough. And, all the marketing is great. I mean, that's a huge portion of what you have to do as a head coach. You've got to do that sort of stuff. But you've got to win. And they're not winning. Not only that, Matt, they're not competitive. They lost 100-0 to Notre Dame. I'm sorry, I went to Matt, but I'm going to go to Ryan, actually. They lost 100-0 to Georgia and Notre Dame. And he talked about that in his press conference, Jeff Collins.
Yeah, no matter what the question was, he just tried to relay it back to the fact that the seniors on the team need to be loved and respected. But
I don't even know what that. I mean, come on.
He said that the last 2 weeks were a step back, and that it's hard when you play the number 6 team in the country and then the number 1 team in the country. But you didn't score a single point against either of those teams, and you're not making the right choice. Well, I'm not a coach, but you're not making choices that could put you in a better position to score. It's tough. I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
No, Matt,
yeah, they've been on a downward spiral for 8 weeks now. It hasn't just been the past 2. It seemed like the better team at the beginning of the season, and they've gotten worse and worse and worse. And I think that's the problem. There's no real leadership. There's no path forward to improving right now. So they have a lot they have to get figured out. And I think we could be seeing 45-0, 50-7 types of games in this rivalry for the foreseeable future.
And then, the other thing, let's just talk about George for a second, please. He got out there, he got out there. The time he caught the ball was right when I was coming out of the tunnel from the half, so I missed that one. I got it, but it was not usable. It was in focus, though, fellas. It was in focus after everything was good. It just was just not a good enough image. But he got out there and played, Matt. I mean, what does that mean, if anything?
Well, it means a lot. It's what I've been saying, all week, is that if you want to get him out there for Alabama, you can't throw him out there. He needs to at least get on the field, take some reps, whether you throw it to him or not, let him get a feel for the game again, build some confidence. And it looks like we will see him against Alabama, hopefully in a bigger capacity, bigger role, because he got out there and played today. But I did not think he would play against Alabama if he did not play today. I don't know how much he played in the second half. I know he was out there when he wasn't having the ball thrown to him. So he was out there, and that's big because it gave everyone else on the team a big boost as well. They wanted to see him out there. They feel for him, and they know how hard, he's been working. We've heard from multiple players and Kirby today that he's been working so hard for this, and the whole team knows it. So I know they were happy to see him out there. I know the fans gave him a big welcome when he was out there. So if he can get 100% by the time the playoffs come around, this offense just becomes that more deadly, that more lethal, especially if you're Stetson Bennett. You have, your best receiver back in crunch time when it matters most. So absolutely, it was a big deal.
Ryan?
Look, even if he's out there next week just as a decoy, that's going to make a huge difference. I mean, just the presence of George Pickens on the field matters. They gave him a little bit of attention today. Same old George. I think I saw him shove a corner to the ground. Made me laugh a little bit. But he got a catch. I thought it was important that he got a catch. Just get him the feel. I think the catch was one of the first plays coming out of the second half. But
It
I mean, he
was.
didn't play that much. In the first half, he played 2 snaps. In the first half, he played 2 or 3 snaps. So I don't really, and he played probably about the same in the second half. Not that much, but they gave him 1 red zone snap. I mean, he's the best. He's the best position player they have.
Well, I'm trying to do work while we talk, and which is never easy. But I thought that I thought this, the thing about this game, and I've talked about it the whole week, is it's the quintessential Atlanta game, you know, and Georgia took this stadium over, the likes of which I've never seen in Atlanta. I've seen this in Nashville. We've all seen this in Nashville, but this was bad. And next week, you know, I think it's very possible that they could have a touch more than 50%. We'll just see. I mean, it's not easy to know what the future will hold with fandom, but I think that the Alabama folks know that they're in this is going to be a real dogfight for them, and I mean Georgia's already favored in this game, so Matt, just it's hard to talk about Georgia Tech, which is a game for Georgia that really matters until it ends. Now that game's gone, it's done, and everything in front of them is going to be a massive, colossal fight from here on out. Whether it's well, let's just start with Alabama this coming week. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, they're not moving the ball really well on Auburn right now. It's 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. But like I've been saying all week, their defense is very Jekyll and Hyde. It's loaded with 5 stars and lots of talent, but they don't exactly play well together at times. There's still some busted assignments, miscommunication. Especially they had some of that against Texas A&M at the end of the game, and of course last week against Arkansas. But they're tough. There's plenty of talent on the team. I don't know if they have as many 5 stars as Georgia does. Probably not, but it's probably the next best. And Kirby said it earlier. We haven't played a team like Alabama yet, and he's absolutely right. So we don't know if we've seen Georgia play their absolute best yet. It feels weird saying that when they're beating teams by 45 points, but they could still get better. And who knows if next week is that they play their A game, they might beat Alabama by more than a touchdown. So.
Well, Ryan, he said in the post game, Kirby, that Georgia was getting better, and I think they are. I mean, you look at Stetson today, and it's hard when you're on the field with a 600 millimeter. I mean, you can see certain things, but with when you're on the field with a 600 millimeter, you can't see up top. But how did it look like Stetson played to you, Ryan?
I thought he made some good throws. I mean, he missed a couple of balls to A.D. Mitchell that were fade routes on the sideline, but I think you don't see him throw that route very often, and so we saw the miscommunication there. But he's getting better every week, I think. Just even if he has a not so great game, which was not the case today, but he's getting better and better. This is not the Stetson Bennett we watched last year. This is a Stetson Bennett that is good enough and has a good enough team around him to beat Alabama, and we'll see what happens. But, the ball to Jermaine Burton was really nice. The ball to Brock Bowers was on the money.
Which was the one, I guess it was to A.D. Mitchell, where he kind of just like teardropped it, it looked like, on the field. Do you know what I'm talking about, y'all? Maybe in the second or third?
I don't remember that play.
Well, he did, and it was a beautiful throw. And you might not be able to see that as well.
He's got a better arm. He's got a better arm than we all get credit for.
I thought Tech actually defended the Stetson run pretty well today, to be honest. I thought it was not the end of the world.
He only took off a couple times.
Yeah, but they were there. I mean, they weren't going to let that guy run for 60
yards. They got
yards.
him in the backfield one time. When he tried to roll out to his left, and they swarmed him there.
And by the way,
he didn't make that many plays with his legs.
Kirby said that is very popular. They were hoping to get Jamari back for the SEC championship game. I don't know how Broderick played, but I mean, it doesn't matter who's out there. I mean, if Broderick's going, you're a 5-star guy. It's time. Okay, it's your time. You got to do it. If it's Stetson, or Stetson gets hurt or can't go, he's got whatever. JT, you got to go. I mean, so they've got 3 games here. They don't even have to win all 3, but you got to win all 3. And this is about, you gotta kill Alabama twice. You can't, once you think they're dead, they're not dead, and you're gonna have to take a bullet to their head one time. Now that's metaphorical. It's not literal. So I probably shouldn't have even said that. But um, they're gonna have to really beat Alabama, Matt. They're not gonna be able to. Alabama's not just gonna cash this thing in.
No, and if you beat Alabama, I mean, they're done. I don't see a two-loss Alabama team getting in unless something really crazy happens. So you don't want to play them twice. I don't think this Georgia team would lose to Alabama twice. It's so hard to beat the same team twice. So, but you got to put them away. This is the time. Ohio State is done. They lost to Michigan. That was a team that a lot of people thought might be able to score on Georgia. They're not as good as we thought, apparently. So you want to get rid of Alabama now and make it as easy as possible for you as the number one seed in the playoff. But the Alabama monkey or elephant, so to speak, is still on their back. And this team, like you said, Dean, for a while, they know they can beat Alabama. They're ready for that game. And it should be a classic. But I think Georgia has a very good chance to beat the Tide in Atlanta next week.
I want to say this real quick. And this is actually, I don't know why I'm waiting this long into the thing to say it. Besides my thanking both of you for a very good regular season. This Georgia team, they don't play well. This is what they are. Like, there's no, oh, they really played well this week. And you're like, no. I mean, it's just like some steady, walk up 30 flights of stairs. I mean, you're constantly having to fight these guys to get first downs. I mean, Georgia had, I think, and this might be factually incorrect, but it was something like 20 points before Tech had 2 first downs. And that's just Tech. I mean, people say, well, Georgia Tech sucks. Well, okay, Florida, Tennessee struggled against Georgia as time went on. It's just that Georgia, I may regret saying this because I know I'm going to contradict myself. Georgia doesn't have to play well. They just got to be what they are. And if they do that, they're going to win the national championship. They'll beat Alabama along the way. Ryan?
I like the way you put it that this is just an elite team. And so have they had better or worse performances this year? Yeah, but they haven't had a bad performance this year. They've played well in every game in different ways, whether it be on the offense, the defensive side, or both. And they've dominated every single team on their schedule in different ways. And they just beat their in-state rival 45-0, 3 shutouts. This is a different Georgia team, and
Yep.
Next week is going to be I think it's going to be more of a mental challenge for them than it will be a skill challenge because they need to get over that hump and beat Alabama. I mean, they've allowed them to come back twice in the last few years. They got to get over that hump, and then who's telling where this program can go?
But Matt, we saw today with Michigan didn't give 2 shits about the mental health with Ohio State. They were just busy dry humping them in the fourth quarter. I mean, The game was over. They were the better team.
They ran all over them. And the thing with this Georgia defense is it seems like they're playing better and better as the game goes on, but we haven't seen them in a close game in the fourth quarter. They've dominated the second quarter in just about every game they played this year, and they're still destroying teams with the second string in there in the fourth quarter. So it seems like they play better as the game goes along. And again, they haven't been tested since week 1.
And that was a very different Clemson team than the Clemson team. I actually think Clemson is playing better right now. But it's just we're living in a different world with these guys. I'm not surprised at all. Georgia takes care of the Jackets. We'll see you in Atlanta for Georgia and Alabama. Clash of the Titans. We'll see you there.